Welcome to the Station Wagon. I'm the older brother, Mark.
And I'm little sister, Julie. This is the podcast where my brother and I give up something we take for granted and tell you how it goes.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey, everybody. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Mark.
That's not what I wrote. Are you reading?
Hi, Mark. I am reading the script you wrote for me. Hi, Marky.
There you go. Hey,
For
Julie.
the record, I do actually call him Marky.
That's right.
It's just,
Right. And you know how to spell it, too, right?
I spell it Marcie.
But that's not right, because that would be Marcy.
I know, but I still choose to spell it that way.
Right. So the correct way to spell Marky would be M-A-R-C-E-E.
Oh, I was going to say Stinky.
God. That's really close. Oh, wait. What's ugly, smelly, and short named Julie on a podcast with me right now?
Me.
Yes. That's a Young Ones reference.
I love it.
Yay. So, Julie, I'd like to start off this episode with a quote, just really to get us rolling.
Okay.
Let this be the grouch's cause. Point out everybody's flaws. Something is wrong with everything except the way I sing. And that's from Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street.
How is that relevant?
Because he's all about the garbage. He lives in a garbage can. And we are giving up creating garbage this episode.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yay.
Oh, my God. You didn't really forget, did you?
No, but I wanted to help you with your segue.
That was pretty good segue, though.
Thanks.
I practiced
Showbiz.
that. Showbiz. Did you like the way I read that?
I did. And I'm doing jazz hands.
Oh, good. Julie, let's go into a quiz about garbage.
Yeah.
Number one, which country produces the most municipal solid waste per capita per year?
United States.
And let me read you the countries. Canada, Comoros, Bahrain, Denmark, or USA?
USA.
Bahrain. They produce
Really?
906.7 kilograms per capita per year. And that's from Waste Atlas 2013 data. USA, actually on the top five, came in 1, 2, 3, 4. They came in fifth.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it goes Bahrain, then Comoros, which I have no idea where that is. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, of course I do.
I don't get out much.
No, me neither. I don't.
All right, Canada, Denmark.
I know where that is.
And then the USA. I know, it's like the hat of the United States.
They love that.
They do. Number two, what did Boyan Slat invent? Letter A, the dumpster. B, biodegradable plastics. C, ocean cleanup array. D, styrofoam.
Biodegradable plastics.
No, he was a 19-year-old. Well, now he's probably like 22. But when he was 19, he developed the Ocean Cleanup Array. It's a big apparatus that goes into the ocean, and it has these booms that come off of a center point that are kilometers long. And they position it in a place where there's a lot of floating garbage. And due to the tidal currents and the sort of permeable membranes underneath and these long booms, garbage is pushed by just like the natural currents into the vertex of these booms, where there is a kind of like a solar power conveyor belty thing that picks up the trash and puts it into storage so that it can be hauled away.
Okay, that's amazing.
Right? So it's amazing. And he was 19 when he started his company, and we have the link to it. And it's a not-for-profit that is deploying these things.
That's super cool.
Number three, what kind of consumer garbage in 1 year in the U.S. would fill 5,000 football fields 10 feet deep?
Ew. I'm going to guess plastic water bottles.
No. Let me give you that was
okay.
The first what we call in the business distractor is fast food containers, like,
Okay.
cat litter.
Oh.
Keurig K-cups. Or styrofoam packaging like that you get in boxes, when you buy your plasma TVs and Laserdisc players.
Well, based on my research, I'll say the food packaging.
No, cat litter.
Really? I never even thought about cat litter, but you're right. That is something that people just throw away. You can't really recycle that stuff,
Right.
huh?
And it can't go into compost. Well, at the municipal composting because it's got poo in it.
Great. Get us an NC-17 rating.
Right.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
So there's something like 90 million cats in the United States.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of fecal matter.
It really is that you're putting into landfills and what?
Yeah.
And actually putting into 5,000 football fields 10 feet deep. Julie, you did terribly at that one.
That was pretty bad.
You haven't missed that many in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Does that mean my questions were extra good?
Yeah, they were fantastic. It was great.
Great.
Even with multiple choice, I still flunked. Oh, well.
But I'm glad you guessed because you don't get penalized for guessing. So that's really
Right.
good. Yeah, listeners, if you're able to tweet in, let us know how many of those you got. That'd be pretty cool to find out if anybody actually pays attention. You know what? They pay attention, Julie, but I bet they're all stumped.
Nice.
Thank you. Are you ready to go on to fantastic garbagey history?
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you found.
Okay, so let's start it off. 79 CE is where I'm going to start.
Alrighty.
At that time, citizens of Pompeii, you may have heard of Pompeii.
Oh, yes.
Stopped putting their trash in tombs, their homes next to cisterns, and any other convenient place because Vesuvius.
Oh, okay, wait. Are you saying because they were all killed by Mount Vesuvius?
Yes,
they
exactly.
Stopped. So if we all get killed by volcanoes, that will solve our trash problem.
Well, right. Exactly. That would.
Okay.
And so watch out, Yellowstone.
Oh, is Yellowstone going to blow?
Oh, my gosh. So Yellowstone has, or is it Yosemite? Where's the one with the geyser?
I don't know.
Shut up. You don't know?
I'm from Indiana.
Wait, is it Yosemite National Park? No, that's the one with like, hey, boo boo. That guy. Is Yellowstone the one with the geyser? Are you there?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Kendra. I don't know.
No, she's not. Julie, what are you talking about?
I don't know these things.
Why did you think I was talking to Kendra? It's me and you on this podcast. What are you talking about?
I thought I heard a voice of somebody smart in the background. It must have been like a little angel speaking into my ear.
Well, right. Okay, so
saying, move on.
Yellowstone or Yosemite has a 50-mile wide volcano that's going to blow sometime, and it's going to kill us all.
Maybe Yosemite is the name of the mountain, and it's in Yellowstone National Park.
Why don't you go back to Indiana? Okay, 1834. Charleston, West Virginia prohibited vulture hunting because they needed the birds to eat the city's garbage.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah. Wow. So pre-1890, people were just throwing garbage in the streets. Right. People were throwing garbage anywhere they could. People were burning garbage just anywhere they could. And there was a lot of ash that needed to get disposed of, and that could be really toxic. During the Industrial Revolution, in the mid to late 1800s, early 1900s, there was industrial pollution, of course, that was just going anywhere. It was a really bad scene, and that's why they needed the vultures, because there was just garbage in the streets.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And so there were local areas, local cities, whatever, who would form little bands or groups to deal with street cleaning and municipal waste. They would have, I saw an article that talked about the juvenile sanitation brigade.
Oh no, just kids who had to go clean up.
I kind of just skimmed it. I don't remember that part exactly. But yeah, it can't be good.
No. Good point.
Right. After 1890, local governments became more involved to create a systematic way to remove garbage. And there were generally like 4 reasons for that. One was because, and we're talking about like urban habitats, because there's more population in the cities at this time and lots more garbage just to deal with. In the mid to late 1800s, bacteria theory started really taking off, right?
Oh.
And people started to literally see the link between having lots of pollutants around and health risks.
Okay. This is a huge tangent, but at this point, people had already recognized that when you have a toilet, you have to dig like 6 feet down deep before defecating into it. I mean, people had started to recognize that if you just poop on the ground and then people accidentally walk in it, then that introduces more viruses.
People have for thousands of years probably buried their poop or gotten rid of their garbage. And I bet it's because people just don't like what smells bad. We're hardwired for that kind of reaction.
That's a good point.
Right. But no, what you said that they discovered that there were viruses in this stuff.
Well, not that they knew it was viruses, but that
no, but
people
they
would
but
get
they
sick more often.
well, right, there might have been that, but I think more likely is that they thought the air was getting putrefied.
Okay.
Before germ theory, I didn't mean bacteria theory, I meant germ theory really started to flourish. People used to think that the air was bad.
Right.
And it was due to the smells that came off this stuff. And it was a pretty good gut reaction to something that you probably shouldn't be around.
Right. Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So
plus the fact that it brings wildlife and rats and vermin.
Well, yeah, and that too, right.
But that's in an urban area, right?
Right, but people didn't realize in the plague days that what was causing the plague or how to stay away from it. There was, yeah. So anyway, yeah, we are getting off course.
Okay.
Number 3, people found that having a clean city was good for commerce, that it was really easy to attract tourists and other businesses to come in when your city was not ankle deep in waste.
Well, that makes a very good point.
Yeah, really? Oh, the other part of this was kind of interesting that city or local municipalities were already taking care of pumping sewage out of people's homes and water into people's homes at this point, or at least taking care of sewage and water in some way. So adding on garbage collection was seen as being sort of a natural extension of the local government services. 1950s, the garbage bag was invented. Let that sink in for a second.
That until then, there wasn't like a plastic or burlap. I don't know what. I mean, there was like containers and you would empty out the containers, but then.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. But at that point, before then, people, were just throwing waste into the streets without any kind of receptacle at all. You should see some of the pictures. They're pretty grody. You also see pictures and probably see in TV and movies, people dealing with those corrugated metal trash cans.
Right.
Right. That was like typical 1940s, 1930s kind of thing to see. And the garbage would just be stuck in those without any kind of garbage bag wrapping them up. And the garbage bag, it has its faults, like it's not biodegradable and it's going to be there for archaeologists in the landfills 10,000 years from now and stuff. So there's that bad side, but it drastically decreased contagions and problems with health for everybody involved with the garbage, people putting it out at the streets, walking by it, whatever, because it was contained. And it had never been contained before. So it was pretty amazing thing. And it came out of Canada. So tip of the hat to Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Did you see what I did there with the tip of the hat joke?
Nope.
Because I said that they were the hat of the United States earlier.
Oh, my gosh. I don't think it counts as a callback if you have to explain it.
No, that's true. All right. 1970, the home trash compactor was introduced.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Right. We had one. Do you remember it at all?
Yeah, it was like state of the art. But you don't see them in people's houses anymore.
No, but you can still buy them. I don't know why. One of the interesting things that I read about this was that they were sort of a hard sell for folks because the big selling point was reducing the size of your trash, not reducing your trash.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it took all this stuff and it didn't really reduce it down to like a little cube. It wasn't like a George Jetson compactor.
Right, exactly. So people were like, wait a second, I'm not actually producing less waste. I'm just making it somewhat smaller. And it was kind of a hard sell. Yeah. Also, the garbage would stay in the little compactor units for a lot longer than they would stay in a garbage can. It would kind of stink after a while.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, because people are lazy naturally, and they'd be like, oh, well, I don't have to empty it yet.
Well, no, not because they're lazy. Man, you have such little faith in humanity. What's wrong with you?
I'm basing them on myself.
Okay. You would put garbage in there and then it would become like 1/35 the size that it used to be. And so you had lots more room to play with.
Right.
Yeah. So we can move on.
Let's move on.
1971, the phrase or the term garbology was coined.
Oh.
And it's the study of material discarded by a society to learn what it reveals about social or cultural patterns.
Okie doke.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
A 2016, Pebbles the puppy and co-contributor to the Station Wagon podcast found that she enjoys chewing up garbage found lying around our house.
Oh, no. Like, what kind of stuff is she chewing?
Well, the picture in the show notes show her delightfully chewing on a corrugated box.
Aw, that is
Yes, she's
delightful.
adorable. Yes. 2016 also, and this is where I'll end. Emma Watson wears a dress made out of garbage to the 2016 Met Gala.
She's pretty awesome.
So to be fair, it was made out of recycled plastics and recycled
Oh,
metals, but I think we could just say that it was all under that big garbagey umbrella.
yeah, I'll agree it's under the umbrella, but as part of a segue, I mean, I think what we'll be talking about when we give up stuff is going to be I mean, we're not going to, recycling counts. I mean, that's not garbage, right? And compost. It's the things that go into the garbage
Okay,
bin.
now just cool your
Should I
jets
just
for a
cool my
second.
jets? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'll hold
I
it.
would
I'll
love,
hold it.
Julie, I would love to hear about science and garbage.
Okay, let me tell you about science and garbage. I focused a lot on packaging, in part because that's what a lot of the research is about, but also over the last couple of weeks, ever since we picked this topic, I've been paying attention to what I'm actually putting in the garbage bin.
Mhm.
And for me, it is food packaging and just packaging, like you mentioned, the styrofoam that comes in a big box.
Mhm.
And that's the stuff I think is going to be hardest for me. So that's a lot of, I was especially primed for that kind of literature. So, first of all, the US is behind other Western nations in terms of waste, and especially with regard to packaging and food waste. We tend to waste a lot of food.
Right.
I remember you've been in Europe quite a bit. Do you remember anything different about the garbage bins there?
Well, they're very, very small.
Yeah, they are.
The in-home garbage bins are very, very
Right.
small. We just went last year to Germany,
Oh, yeah.
and they recycle a lot of stuff that we don't.
Oh, like what?
Well, for instance, like the wrappers from string cheese that we can get here, like at
Yeah.
Costco. You can't put those in the recycling bin, but you can there.
No way. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
interesting.
all kinds of things get recycled there that don't here. They have very little space for actual landfill or burnable garbage.
Right. Yay, Germany. Yeah, there's so much more innovation. I think part of it is because they just are more motivated. We have spare land, although we shouldn't be using it for landfills. I think we have less pressure of just the lack of land here, or the not lack of land. That made sense. Yeah, I remember when I lived in London for a summer, our house of 3 people living together, we had one itty bitty little bin that I remember thinking, that's the size of the trash can in my bathroom at home. I was so embarrassed at how much trash I produced. I remember one time taking my garbage out and putting it into a street garbage can just down the road because I was too embarrassed to consistently fill up our garbage can just by being my own wasteful American self. Anyway, let's talk about what actually helps consumers make the right decisions.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you have any ideas or insights?
Can you say ask the same question but using different words?
I will. Oh, you don't want me to just say it louder?
No.
Because I could do that too. Okay, let's say you buy your daughter a brand new Elsa doll.
Oh, okay.
And that Elsa doll comes in frustration-free packaging.
Uh-huh.
Which part? I'm just
Now, is it the Elsa doll that has a microphone that you can sing to and do a duet with? Or is it the Elsa doll that has just fancy clothes and you can like do stuff with?
Yeah, she's got fancy clothes, but it's like she's always wearing a bathing suit of her bodice, and you can just take her skirt on and off. You can never actually take all her clothes off.
Okay, so it's the non-good Elsa.
Right. Okay. So it's that one. You know what I'm talking
about. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so so Elsa comes in a packaging that's half plastic, that doesn't have like the recycling number on it, half cardboard, it's kind of taped to it, and then she herself is on a cardboard thing with plastic things tying her to it. How do you motivate consumers to make the right decisions to take the things that are recyclable and recycle them?
Oh, making it ludicrously easy for us.
Yeah. You're right. That's a big part of it, is making it really easy. Like the saying is, when in doubt, throw it out. Because our recycling programs are limited. And so if you have a string cheese wrapper and you're not sure, you're supposed to throw it in the garbage. That's the public message, because we don't want to contaminate the recycling with non-recyclables. So making it ridiculously easy. Yes. Any other thing you can think of that would prevent people from just chucking the whole thing in the garbage?
Garbage tax?
Yeah, exactly. Charging them for the trash. In most cities these days, and this is a movement over the last, couple of decades, we pay more for our trash than we do for our recycling and compost. And people are way more incentivized to recycle and compost when they have to pay for trash. In Chicago, we had to buy trash bags. I think we were living in Chicago. I don't know. One of the places I've lived, you had to buy specific bags for your trash, and they cost a lot of money. It was like $5 for each of those. So
Wow.
of course you wanted to recycle and compost. Yes. So making it super easy. What doesn't seem to work is the protect the future for your kids.
Oh, really?
So yeah, we are kind of selfish human beings, and I'm sure that works for some people, but the campaigns that were based around, yeah, don't you want to make the world a better place for your children?
Mm-hmm.
Or look at this cute girl with her pigtails. Do you want her to live in a trash-filled world? Yeah, that doesn't work. People are
People
we're
are
pressed for
bastards.
well, I don't think married parentage has a lot to do with it.
Wait, what was that last sentence you just said? Married parentage?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, do you know what a bastard is?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, maybe you should think about using a different word.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I will.
Jerk face.
Okay.
Anyway, so what seems to work a little bit more is make the present for us better than the future for our kids. So showing people pictures of like the excess waste, and like you said, those disgusting pictures you were looking at, those things do pack a punch. But only if you're showing people pictures of excess waste, not really in their own environment, because it kind of competes with broken window theory. So do you remember broken window theory?
Yeah, that's the theory where if you're living on a block that has a house with one broken window, the whole neighborhood will start to decline.
Right. The whole thing catches on fire.
Right.
Yeah. There's this really pretty incredible study, I don't know, maybe back in the 60s or 70s, where they took a car with one broken, or they would watch cars of the same make and model in different neighborhoods. And if it had one broken window within like a week, kids and vandals and things had completely smashed up the whole car to pieces. And so that's it. It comes from that one particular study, the term broken window, but it is, the theory is that if you already see something as a mess, it doesn't make it that much worse to make it a bigger mess. Just like this afternoon, my child bit a potato chip that she did not like, and we were in the car, and I said, "Here, let me pass you a napkin so you could spit it into the napkin." She said, "I already spit it onto the floor." And I said, "Oh," and she said, "It's okay. It was already really yucky back here."
Oh, God.
I was like, oh.
Right. So if you already see a decline or something that's not right, then it gives you sort of more privilege or the feeling like it's okay to keep not treating things correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's not going to make such a big difference. It's already a mess here.
Right.
And we see that definitely in the literature with regard to garbage and trash. And, if you walk by a garbage can and it's kind of overflowing, or a recycling bin that's okay, I'm getting very specific here, but if you see a recycling bin that looks kind of yucky and you see people sticking trash in it, perhaps it might reduce the next time you walk by a recycling bin how much you're gonna recycle.
Can I just tell you one thing?
Yeah.
So I just texted Kendra to see if we get charged more in Snoqualmie for garbage than we do for recycling, but I texted her, "Do we get charged more for garbage than we do for trash?" And she wrote back, "Those both mean the same thing." So I guess it turns out that I can't multitask.
I guess not. Oh, are we going to give that up at some point?
Giving up multitasking?
Yeah.
Well, we don't actually do it.
What?
No one multitasks.
Okay. Are we going to give up attempting and unsuccessfully multitasking?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, great.
We'll have to really define that out.
Okay, yeah, I think so. Okay. But then there's broken window theory doesn't really work. Planning works. But then there's a lot of writers and public health folks who say, hey, we shouldn't actually blame the consumers. This is a larger problem. And just focusing on how do we make the consumers make the right decision of to recycle instead of throwing everything out. That is kind of ignoring the larger issue, which is with regard to packaging, we need packaging alternatives. And they're out there. We're just not really incentivized to use them. So, and they're not as good, of course, but like, for example, there's this one called Plant Pack, which is made out of seaweed and starch, and the whole thing is compostable. I'm sure it's way more expensive than other things that people use for packaging, but starting to pay attention to those alternatives would make sense. But another thing that could be cool is giving the consumers options for how much of the packaging is recyclable or reusable, like we do with calories. Mm-hmm. So, for example, let's say Mattel had, okay, we can't use the Elsa doll example because probably only one company has the rights to it.
Sure.
But let's say there's two equivalent kinds of crisped rice cereal in your store. And I'm definitely talking about something that would happen 10 years down the road. But you see two packages and you see one, maybe there's the little dietary nutrition thing. And then under that, there's another little table that says 100% of this package can be compostable.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one says the outer wrapping of this package can be compostable. Like these days in your jacket, you have to know the packaging. The packaging on you shows exactly what kind of materials are in there. So that kind of alternative to let consumers choose. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, it's still going to be more expensive for a long time, but I think ultimately that's probably where we're headed.
That's really interesting. And I think I might actually make choices based on that kind of thing because sometimes products are very, very similar.
Yep.
And maybe even very similarly rated too by customers or whatever. But
Hey.
if the packaging is somehow better for the people who produce the device, better for the people who produce the packaging and down the whole manufacturing chain to the garbage chain, then that would be great.
Yeah, I would, if the price wasn't that much more,
Mm-hmm.
I would choose that. Just like with
Mm-hmm.
recycled paper, we choose that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So
Okay.
can we get into our definition? Because I'm been assuming as I've been preparing for this episode that we're going to keep recycling and composting. What we're going to stop doing is actually putting things in a garbage bag.
Right. And so I don't have any definition. Let's just talk more about what we're going to do. And I think I just agree with you, Julie.
Okay, awesome. I'm planning on saving everything unless it's like super stinky we're not even going to think about toilet paper. We're just going to assume that doesn't exist. Like
toilet paper, facial, snotty tissues, gross earwax, Q-tips.
No.
What? Everybody has earwax, Julie.
Not me. I'm a girl. I have earwax. Okay, but I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh.
Because I think this is going to be so much harder for me than for you because I do my family's shopping and most of the food preparation and I do the lunches for my kids.
Right. So I think what we should also do is just still, you know what? I'm involved with my family life.
No, I know. It's just those particular things.
Kindred does all, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kindred does those stuff. I mean, you do like homework and I don't know.
No, I don't do the homework.
You make sure they don't play with knives and stuff.
Well, yeah, I do that. Or show them anyway. So
you show them YouTube videos.
Right. Of Minecraft guys. What were we talking about?
Well, I was just saying, I think it's going to be more challenging for me. We probably should have baselined and figured out normally how much trash do we produce.
So here's the thing. So I cannot control how much trash my family produces.
Right. Oh,
That's not what this is about.
No,
and so I think that you can tell when you are doing something for your family, your family, that's the communal versus just for yourself.
Nope. I'm gonna go whole hog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't separate those two.
That's okay.
No, let me scratch that. I can separate those two. It's very easy for me to separate those two because most of the time I'm just completely selfish and looking out for another one.
Right. And I'm a mommy.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. So, but I've been preparing. So in my purse right now, I bought reusable produce bags because when I'm doing the grocery shopping, I already use reusable shopping bags. So that's not anything new. Although I do forget them once in a while. And I bought new compostable compost bags that like fit into a compost bin. I mean, we already have like a household compost bin.
Yeah.
But there's these bags that I forget what they're made out of. Probably something like seaweed and starch. And they're not amazing. Like if you put soup in them, it would eventually start leaking. Okay. But they're pretty good.
Okay.
And I'm going to use those for my kids instead of baggies when I'm doing their lunches, so that those can be composted and things like that. So we'll see how it goes.
That sounds really great. So I'm going to carry around like a backpack that has a big multi-gallon Ziploc bag so I can put the garbage in there that I create.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah, just so I can weigh it later. And then I'm just going to try really hard. And it's going to be challenging for me because I'm addicted to things that produce garbage.
Like what?
Well, like morning and lunch at work, I eat like a protein bar.
Oh, those wrappers.
And those wrappers, they don't get recycled, I don't think, right?
Nope.
No, right? Unless you're in Germany, I suppose.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Right. So
Mail them to your brother-in-law.
he's not in Germany anymore.
Oh, right. Never mind.
He's in Spokane, and I don't know what they have to recycle there. But
probably not much. There's cigarette butts, maybe.
Oh, come on.
Sorry,
Spokane is for lovers. That's where Kendra and I met.
Oh, wait, I can one-up you with something.
Oh, yeah? What?
I have a worm bin. So I am like super Olympia.
That is awesome. So let's talk about that for a second. So we had a worm bin in Spokane, and we weren't very good at it. We had a really cool one that had like 4 layers, and you could swap out the layers and stuff.
Yeah.
And the worms were always trying to escape.
Yeah,
or it always had lots of
died.
flies.
Yeah, I remember you guys got like the top of the line.
No, we didn't. Well, first of all, it's a worm bin. What's top of the line anyway? So maybe we did.
Well,
so sue me.
I made mine out of 2 big plastic bins, and I drilled some holes in it, and it's working great. It's super easy.
It is?
Yeah, I've had it for over a year, and it smells fine.
Where do you have it?
In my garage.
Okay, when's the next time I'm going to see you?
I don't know. Come on down, play with my worms. They're all named Elsa.
You try, but you have to let go a little bit because I don't know, for practicality's sake, I guess. Yeah, sometimes you just don't have time to like get every item in bulk at the co-op when there's like lots of screaming children to deal with.
But yeah, I'm kind of committed to like waste reduction, except when I get too tired, and then I throw out my plastic too.
Not a word.
Cardboard is recycling, and everything else is trash.
Hey, Julie.
Hey, Mark. What's that smell?
It's you.
No, actually it might be because I've been carting around all this garbage with me.
You know what? I have too, but I smarted up a little bit and used a gallon Ziploc bag to tote it all around in.
Were you able to fit everything from 2 weeks into 1 gallon Ziploc bag?
Yes, and we'll get into that in a little bit. What were you toting around, like a hefty 6-size Glad bag or something? That was Glad and Hefty mixed together. We're looking for sponsors,
for
Glefty.
all your garbage needs.
That's not a thing. Did you make that up?
Yeah.
Wait, you did make it up?
Yeah, I just made it up.
Oh, okay.
Rumble Marketing can help Glefty.
Right.
You know, I have to say that it's been really awesome having Rumble Marketing to be our foundational sponsor. They paid for so much stuff so we could do this silly podcast and deliver it for free to everybody. And this is the last episode that they are sponsoring, but we will continue to hold them in our hearts. So thanks for everything, Rumble Marketing.
Thank you, Rumble Marketing.
And our parting gift to you is the Glefty account.
That's right. You can help them to nail their brand voice and communicate key product messaging.
Okay, so garbage.
Garbage. So, Julie, yes, I was carrying around all my garbage, and in the show notes, there's a picture of it.
Okay.
And I think in the show notes is a picture of what you've been carrying around for your garbage.
Yes. Well, you'll see a cardboard box with 2 different Ziploc gallon bags. Actually, I had one at home and one at work. And then I ran out of space in those. So like really big chunks of garbage I just put in the box.
You know, my garbage doesn't really boil down to chunks per se. What is your garbage chunk? What's a chunk of garbage? Because we're not doing any kind of yard waste here.
Right. No.
So what do you mean by chunk?
Okay, my garbage fell into 2 main categories. One is food waste, not pieces of food, but like food wrapper waste.
Right.
Like I used like a Pillsbury crescent rolls or like the off-brand ones, and I don't want Pillsbury to get free marketing. That
we don't want to bus market Pillsbury.
Exactly. They're doing fine without us.
Well, that Pillsbury Doughboy could stand to lose a little around the middle, if you know what I mean.
It's very judgy. So, like the wrapper for that I've been carrying around for 2 weeks. We ended this experiment a while ago, so I've been carrying it around a lot longer. In fact, I had everything in an Amazon box, and I sealed up the box and put it in my closet so that it wouldn't be like in the way.
Well, now, is that really any different from what's in the Amazon boxes you get directly from Amazon. Oh, burn.
Burn. Actually, that was the second type of waste, was packaging waste from Amazon. Like online shipping stuff. Like I ordered a sweatshirt online and it came in a plastic bag and that wasn't recyclable, and inside a different plastic bag with lots of tape on it and stuff. But my kids found the box and thought it was presents.
Oh, can I just tell you something?
And it was
'Cause
very
that's what
disappointing for them.
That's what this podcast is all about, just telling you stuff.
Yeah, tell me some stuff.
We use Amazon Fresh. We absolutely love it. So one of the things that people have a problem with from Amazon Fresh, some of the food gets smushed. Like bananas
Ew.
tend to be really
Oh, no.
bruised. And we experience that a lot because, like everybody else, bananas are the number one thing that we order from Amazon Fresh.
Mhm.
So just recently, they've been sending out bananas essentially bubble wrapped.
Oh my gosh. It's just so wrong because that's a
Ugh.
fruit that comes inside its own package.
Right? And I was fine with a little bit of the bruising,
Right.
you know, because you can use the bananas for other things, whatever. That's just crazy from a company that does a really good job with their, you know, with their other types of packaging, like their frustration-free packaging, which reduces the amount of waste. And
What? I can't hear you. I've got a banana in my rear.
wait, in your rear? Would you like? Oh my God, you just cracked yourself up. That's not how that saying is supposed to go, just so you know. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's too much packaging.
Too
But
much.
I get why
Couldn't
they
believe
wanted.
it.
They're competing with other delivery systems. Like,
Well, and I guess they're competing with me just delicately picking them from the grocery store,
yeah.
I suppose.
But I mean, would you pay 20 cents more for a banana if they put in additional labor to like make sure that bananas were on top of the packet? You know, I mean, there's
Yeah,
like
not
other
smushed.
ways.
Let's just say just not bruised. That's my customer requirement. They're just not
Right.
bruised. I don't
I
care
mean-
how they get it to me as long as they don't waste packaging to do it.
Right. So it goes back to what we talked about last time, which is there are inherent costs in some of these things, but things we might be willing to spend that money on.
Oh, and you know what, Julie, you're absolutely right. And my usual motto, taken from the young ones, is that I don't abuse my body or the world I live in. But this episode has shown me that I actually do abuse the world I live in quite a bit. And even when I'm trying not to make garbage, there's just the culture in which I'm living in doesn't let a person actually be zero waste.
No, exactly. I mean, I disagree with your first premise, which is that you are abusing the planet. I think it's kind of unavoidable if you are a consumer and buying anything.
But I'm
And
abusing the planet.
Well, and by existing, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, not you. Well, yeah, you personally, for all the methane.
Nice, real
But
nice. Pebbles
it-
would have something to say about that to you.
Oh, she can bite me next time I
All
see
right,
her.
good.
But she won't. She'll kiss me because I'm her aunt. But
Right.
anyway, I feel like there's a lot of blame on consumers of like, don't forget to recycle, you stupid
Right.
idiot. Is kind of what
Yeah.
I feel like the messaging is to me.
Right. And if
Which
you
is-
don't understand which of the three bins at work your stuff needs to go in, and you have to stand there staring at them and looking at the thing in your hand and then staring back at the bins over and over again,
Repeat.
you kind of do feel a bit like an idiot.
Yeah, I think it definitely needs to be systematic changes. It's not like, oh, just educate the consumers better. Although it's probably a combination. So what was it like for you in general? Was this pretty hard? I mean, 1 gallon thing full doesn't seem like that much. Were you surprised?
No, because during that time period, really all I was eating were some of those bars at work. And very little that actually had where I was producing the garbage. So the thing that I did, as I addressed in the first half of the show, Julie, was I only considered garbage to be made if it was me making the garbage, which means that unlike your situation where you come home and you make a full dinner, I come home and I'm extremely lucky because Kendra makes the full dinner, or if I
Yep.
go out, somebody else is making it. So I very rarely am actually making dinner and producing the waste that comes along with preparing food. And Kendra also does a lot of the ordering for stuff that we need at the house that produces waste also when she unpacks that stuff. So literally during that time period, I saved everything that I personally produced as garbage, and it fit into that 1 gallon bag. And that's kind of weird, wrong on several levels. One, hopefully you picked up that I don't do a heck of a lot around the house.
Yep. Well, that's not news to me, but perhaps to our listeners.
Yeah, so that was really interesting and news to me. The other, not news to me, but it was just another eye opener for me that perhaps I should get more involved at the house. Kendra, if you have feelings about that, please feel free to leave a note on our Facebook account. Don't tell me about it directly.
Feelings.
If you're having any feelings about that.
Yeah, no direct communication, please. Everything needs to be passive aggressive.
That's right.
Speaking of communication, I couldn't find those pictures I was looking for. So if you heard bings, listeners, coming from Mark's side, that was the sound of me sending him some Snapchat photos I took instead. I look like a puppy in one. It's pretty cute. Anyway.
Yeah, so the other thing was I felt incredible guilt going out to eat, because even though I couldn't see garbage being made, especially if I went to a place with cloth napkins, which maybe happened like once during that time frame, I just had to guess that there was a lot of garbage being created on my behalf behind the scenes. And I never actually felt like, even if I was nice about it, asking the owner of the restaurant or the waiter, by the way, how much garbage are you producing for this meal?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you didn't do that.
Really?
Yeah, I think it could be really rude.
Okay, well, listener, the person who's listening to us right now, if you have more of a spine than Julie and I do, please feel free to go to, when you're at the next restaurant, ask them to show you how much garbage they're creating on your behalf. Not yard waste, but the stuff that we're talking about, the garbage. And then post it in Facebook or something. Let us know.
Yeah, because generally restaurateurs have a lot of spare time.
Well, absolutely they do, right? And just, you could tell the wait staff that you'll give them more of a tip.
Oh, that's nice. So can I share an anecdote?
Yeah.
Well, I was on my business trip. I love your
anecdotes.
Oh, thanks. At first, I started to panic because there was just so much garbage I was producing. And my hotel room didn't have a recycling bin, whereas most of the time they do these days. And of course, there was no food waste bin there. So I was like, ew, am I going to have to store 4 days of food waste to bring it home with me to compost? But then I was walking around this convention center and I found a great trash can that even had a compost bin in the trash can section. So it had 5 different types of things you could throw out. So every day I took all my waste from my hotel room and went 2 blocks away to the convention center and separated out all my trash and compost.
Oh my God.
So that was awesome. Thank you, Minneapolis Convention Center.
Well, that was really cool, and that you had the option to do that. That's really cool.
Yes.
You probably could have also just saved it back in your suitcase to throw away and recycle when you got home.
Well, I did that with the garbage that I couldn't actually throw out.
Oh, really? That's funny. So how much does your garbage weigh?
I haven't weighed it yet, but it felt like maybe a pound at the most. I mean, it was really light because, like I said, it was mostly packaging material, like pieces of saran wrap and stuff like that. What about yours?
I don't know. I'm going to go weigh it right now. Okay. Can you hold on a second?
Sure.
Okay. Are you there?
I'm here.
3.6 ounces.
Okay. That's very specific. I don't have a scale
We have a postage scale.
Oh, okay. Perfect. How much would it cost to ship that?
That's a question for Kendra, really.
Okay. So do your extrapolation extravaganza.
All right, let's see here. Hold on. Well, this can't be right because that would be 93 ounces over the course of the year.
I think there's certain times of the year and certain activities that are just going to require much, much more garbage. Like, for example, once you start helping around the house.
And eating normal garbage producing food?
Oh, totally. For me, it was a lot because I was cooking. I did love having my reusable produce bags, and I used those constantly. And by the way, I've still been using them since the experiment ended. But I'm doing all the cooking except for breakfast, and that's a lot of garbage. So once you start... a light bulb exploded after the experiment ended, and so I had to pick up all these shards of glass and things. There's no way I'm going to recycle glass shards.
Really? Why not?
Just stuff happens.
Why would you recycle glass shards? Isn't that recyclable?
I was considering making an art project with all of my leftover garbage so that I could give it to you and say, I had no garbage because see, I reused it. But I decided that would take extra time.
Yeah, that would have required.
I kind of stopped caring.
God. Perfect.
So what would you recommend to our listeners as a strategy that worked best to help keep your garbage low?
What I would What I would
Have someone else cook and clean for you.
Right. So the thing that really helped me reduce my garbage output was to not do any work. That was really it. So ways to do that would be to marry Kendra because she's awesome.
Be independently wealthy.
That's right. Be independently wealthy. You could train your dog to cook or your small children to cook and do all the work. That way you can just lounge around pretending like you don't actually have an impact on the garbage output of your household.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So how about you?
I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm not sure what I could do. I bake bread a lot, but still not enough to like be all the sliced bread that we eat. You know, I mean, that was something that I was thinking about. Like, okay, this bread, this packaging from the bread, I can't recycle that. I mean, I guess theoretically the bread, you know, I would get the flour in a reusable sack from my local market and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. If I didn't have a full-time job plus a private practice on the side plus a silly podcast on
Would
the
you
side.
quit saying it's a silly podcast? It is not silly. We are very
It
serious
is
about
very serious.
We're very
podcast.
serious about our art.
Yes, this artistic and serious endeavor. Then maybe I'd have time to go to like a bunch of different markets instead of shopping on Amazon and just one big grocery store. But I don't know. It takes a lot of effort. It's just everything's a balance of where do you want to put the effort. And I don't have any really good advice except being thoughtful when you're at the store initially buying things. Because once you own the thing, including the packaging, your options are going to be limited.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agreed.
Let's move on. This is the part of the podcast where we talk about other stuff. Like going to wagonpod.com where you can listen to more episodes, view our show
Go check
notes,
it
and
out.
subscribe. Yeah. There's also connection with us on Facebook and Twitter, especially Mark is very, very active at the old tweets, at ye old tweet.
That is what old-timey people would call it. That's true. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and thank you to Too Many Marbles who gave us a nice iTunes review a couple months ago. And we're just now getting to putting it in an episode. Too Many Marbles wrote, I couldn't imagine giving up things like utensils or paper products so I can live vicariously through this dynamic duo and soak up all the laughs. Yeah.
Can you hold on a second? Pebbles is pressing the doorbell to go outside to go pee. I'll be right back.
Mark and Kendra also trained their cats to use a toilet. Thank you to the Pleasure Kills, as always, for the use of the song Modern Problems.
Thanks. Kills, pleasure. Pleasure kills.
Kills, comma, pleasure. Right. Thanks to Rumble Marketing, as always. And thanks to our spouses and children for putting up with us.
Thank you, dependents. Wait, are spouses dependents?
It sounds like you're the dependent.
Why don't you tell the nice people out there what our next episode is going to be all about?
We're going to do something a little different. We're going to fill you all in on how our first 21 episodes have changed us for the better, hopefully.
That was great. Actually, leaving that talk to you later thing.
Oh, yeah, I will.
All right. Cool.
And I think I will. And
You stupid.